Man, I bet a lot of people would be happy with that.
I know, really. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Thursday's edition of Gloves Off. I'm here with Ed Silva, but before we get started, I got to read this disclaimer. The disclaimer, the opinions, well, what's up here? And why does it keep going away? The opinions of the host, guests, and any callers, and anyone who comments are not representative of the opinion of Mr. Singer's employer or anyone associated with Gloves Off. Yay, that's done. How's everybody this fine Thursday? We will start, and the camera's only going to be facing to me. We will start with Steve Cody. How unusual, right? Okay, so my office, once again, got a letter or an email from Steve Cody today, which I'm going to read to you guys. So if you could just pop that up. I think it's 32. Is it 32 or 16? Okay, here we go. Oh, I can't even read that thing. Okay, so this is from our favorite council member, Steve Cody, who seriously has some mental issues. It says, David Singer insists on doing his little show from his bunker. That's where we are. The people he has on says he's still in your office, which I'm not, doing a variety hour during normal business workday, which I'm not, from an interior space far from any windows. The important thing is he's still YouTubing from your premises. Once again, Steve Cody's wrong, but you know, that's what happens when people are insane. He's again bragging that he's doing an expose of me, Karen Cunningham, and Patrick Feroy on this Thursday's Dog and Pony Show. Please refresh your recollection by my reviewing my previous email to you. This all may not end well for your company. He's making threats against my employer. This is a public official making threats against my employer. Okay, somebody who Karen Cunningham got elected. Unless you take steps to ensure your employee does not defame me or anyone else. Community newspapers put Singer on a 15-minute delay. That's not true. But dumped the program when he insisted on going after me when he had been warned by Michael and Grant Miller. Once again, not true. Shortly day after, they fired him. It's hard to fire me when I'm paying for the airtime, Steve Cody. So once again, untrue. Michael, shortly thereafter, they fired him from his position. You can't fire somebody who doesn't work for you. You could institute a similar delay and monitor your employee dumping the live feed when he begins to defame. First of all, Steve, anytime I talked about you, it's not defame, it's the truth. I have a book on you that's bigger than War and Peace. As I mentioned to you before, this disclaimer you have that Singer raids at the start of the show gives you about as much protection as a thong on a fat man on Miami Beach at high noon. Cody, you would know about a thong on a fat man because I've never seen anybody as fat as you are. Anyway, so that's my personal opinion. So anyway, so that's the first. That is an elected official, by the way, sending to an employer of a resident of Palmetto Bay. Can you imagine that? This is what Karen Cunningham has done to the village of Palmetto Bay. Okay, put up 16. Oh, here we go. I can't even read this. Can you read that?
I can, yeah.
Can you read that for us? Okay, so Liam's going to read it because this is another one of Steve Cody's Facebook pages. The guy is literally not stable. Go ahead, read it, please.
All right, for sure. Do you see this little bitch? I got 99 problems, but this little bitch ain't one of them. Oh, wow. This is the little bitch I beat by 498 votes in November 2020. He's such a little bitch narcissist that every time I refer to him, he claims I'm giving him free advertising. So I'm not using his name. I'm just calling him out as the little bitch he is and always has been. Jesus. Anyway, this little bitch filed another lawsuit against me. This time he's claiming I slandered him again and that I tortuously interfered with the relations he enjoys with his boss. Oh, his boss. I'm guessing the little bitch has relations with his boss Doggy Style. Jesus. He's suing me and the village of Palmetto Bay for $1 million again, and he's also being represented by Michael Peasy, the ousted mayor of Miami Lakes, who is acquitted of federal corruption charges again. Peasy and the little bitch are likely going to have to pay my attorney's fees, and the little bitch will be hit with a judgment for punitive damages for malicious prosecution and abusive process. And the little bitch has opened the door to having me depose his boss and very likely bring in his boss's company as a third-party defendant. Life out there is hard for the little bitch.
Okay, so once again, that is a post by Councilman Steve Cody talking about one of his constituents, okay, in the village of Palmetto Bay. there is something seriously wrong with this guy. I cannot believe that Karen Cunningham helped him get elected to office. The guy needs to be removed. And am I suing him? Yes, I'm suing him. I don't know what else to say about that. Okay, you want to throw up the third one?
Sure.
I mean, he just sends this stuff randomly. You know that there's something unbalanced about this guy. It's number 13.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the where it is. Wait,
Oh, it's so sad. You can't find it. There's 17. There's 11. There's 13 right there.
we go.
Okay,
Right.
here we go. Okay, so this is another. I guess this is another Facebook post. And by the way, one thing about Pizzi is, yes, Michael Pizzi is representing me. Michael Pizzi is a great attorney, and Michael Pizzi, didn't lose his bar license like Steve Cody did, because Michael Pizzi has never forged checks. Let's see. This is the one where he calls me a whitehead, or what does he call me? He calls me a pimple.
Well,
And-
it says here, one looks like a zit, the other looks like a blackhead. They're the Carbuncle brothers.
Okay,
Jesus.
another one of these Facebook posts that he puts up there. By the way, if I haven't said it enough, this is a guy that Karen Cunningham helped get elected. This is a true. If this is the true representation of the village of Palmetto Bay, I should move to Pinecrest. I mean, seriously, this guy. There's just something wrong with this guy. This is the guy that still owes Palmetto Bay $5,000 and is still allegedly. Can I say allegedly? Well, I mean, we got the documentation that he owes Palmetto Bay $5,000, and they haven't tried to collect because he's on the council. Okay, enough of that. Enough of Steve Cody. He's like dog shit on my shoe. I just want to wipe it off. Let's talk to Ed Silva, because Ed Silva has a whole presentation today. Don't you, Ed?
I do.
Yeah, you got to run in all these pictures and everything.
Yeah, I brought you some pictures. You
Okay.
asked me to, and I did. I have a disclaimer. Great news for everybody. We actually are doing a project for David's company that'll keep him busy. So maybe that'll calm it down a little bit.
Probably not.
I am going to say one thing about that. That council member is certainly an embarrassment to the village. He really is. But you got to consider his misfortunes. He's lost his law practice, his financial misfortunes, and one really needs to feel sorry for this guy.
Oh, I don't.
He is-
Are you kidding me?
He's truly irrelevant. He's been resurrected to be an attack dog. I wouldn't give him the time of day. I haven't given him the time of day. And I am sure that we'll be getting a little meme or a little Facebook post or whatever rocks his boat in the next couple of days.
Come on.
It is what
I
it
haven't.
is.
The only thing I haven't shown
The
here.
telling thing here,
Okay.
the telling thing here, David, is rumor has it, and I've kind of verified it, that they're out looking for another candidate to replace him, because even his own camp's had enough of his stuff. And that's all you really need to know. I mean, the guy's got no life. You got to feel sorry for somebody that's
I
had
don't know.
everything in his hands and let
Yep.
it go. Anyway, that's it for him. I really don't. I don't suffer fools much, and I really don't want to talk about him much.
I'm not talking about him. But by the way, at the end of the program, we'll be talking about Karen and the Village of Palmetto Bay. But last 5 minutes, I do want to get into Patrick, Councilman Patrick.
And I did bring in a lot
Okay.
of. We had a meeting today, but other than that, I also did bring in some pictures. But before I start the pictures, I was actually while you made me wait
Oh,
for
sorry.
our meeting today. I was reading the Miami Today, and again, I'm going to get on my favorite pet peeve, which is transit in the county. And the bottom line is, even Michael Lewis is writing here in an editorial that what is the county going to do to get the ridership back? They're bleeding ridership. The SMART plan is clearly not going to work out. They're not sure if they can even have enough money to do all those rides, and that whole department's in disarray. We really need to get our hands around the issue of mass transit in this county, because we're choking as it is now.
Well, didn't they
continue to choke?
But didn't they put somebody in as the and tell me if I'm wrong, as the head of mass transit for Dade County that had no experience at all?
Well, the guy that went out and they hired
To
They hired
replace
somebody
Alice, right?
Yeah, they hired somebody that actually, there are two standards or two transit standards that are recognized in the United States, And the transit standard that he worked with and he knows and he operated on is not the traffic standard that's used in the state of Florida. So there's been a big learning curve. But I still don't see how you've been in the position for as long as he has and not realize that you don't have enough employees to be able to run an efficient transit system, where they recently announced that they have to have the headway, the difference between trains. They've had to make it go from 5 minutes to 10 or from 10 to 15 because they simply don't have enough operators to make it work anymore. This is no way to run transit. They got serious.
Maybe they should ask Alice to come back.
I don't think she would. They're serious.
I liked Alice. I thought she did a good job.
Yeah. I know. I think she did a great job. She actually put a very good plan together. There's a lot of things in that plan that even the Village of Palmetto Bay and the coalition of South Dade mayors at that time, which all of a sudden that's become a new thing, but that's been around for 10 years now. The former Mayor Flynn brought it up. We were actually advocating to try to get something, even light rail on grade to at least to Cutler Bay. And you had Mayor Meerbot here last week where he actually announced that they have 5,000-6,000 units coming.
That's right.
Those cars and those people that leave those units, they're certainly not going to go east. They're not going to go west. They're not going to go south. Which way are they going to go, David? And through who?
Yeah, Palmetto Bay.
They're going to go through Palmetto Bay. And how's Palmetto Bay's interaction with the county and our sister cities?
Terrible. Karen Cunningham has killed that.
I see that our future in terms of transit is we're going to be mired in a world of hurt because we've done everything in our power
to piss off the county.
Alienate everybody.
Yeah.
Starting with our county commissioner, who's
going to be reelected.
And I gotta talk about Danielle Cohen-Higgins. Obviously.
Okay, you talk about Danielle Cohen-Higgins. Talk to that mic. I mean, talk to that camera right there.
No. There's obviously something to be said about a commissioner or someone that's in office that does and says what she says she's going to do. I knew she was a real deal when she came out during her election campaign and said, hey, I'm doing this because I think it's the right thing to do for my constituents, and there's no way that I'm going to stop. And that is actually building the bridge. Now, that bridge came about because there was an alternative solution, a step before the bridge had to be built that our current council walked away from, and they didn't want to do it. Now, there was always a caveat in that agreement that if the alternative workout, which was enlarging the roundabout on 87th and 168th, if that didn't work, then automatically the bridge would be coming online and on board. But at least it was a stopgap to try to stop the bridge from ruining everybody north of Palmetto Bay, or so the perception is. When that fell through, the only thing left to do was
put the bridge.
And that is exactly the stance, the nuanced stance that this commissioner took, no matter what everybody else said. I'm an architect, as everybody knows. I had a project in South Dade where I saw how she advocated for the Redlands and how she advocated to ensure that everybody sat in a room and worked out the process. It's a project that I took over that had 270 people complaining about the project from the previous architects before I got it. And we got it approved because we actually knew how to talk and compromise and reach out to the residents and reach a happy medium. And that's all that government should be. It's not about being antagonistic. It's reaching a happy medium at all times. And she's great at it. And she's great at her word. When she says she's doing something, she's doing it. And for her to be able to have taken the arrows and the slings that our village has done is abhorrent. It's an embarrassment.
And some of the residents, by the way.
It's an embarrassment to our village. It
Correct.
truly is. To claim that they got blindsided by this bridge when she put it out when she was running, when she said it privately to our mayor in a meeting, when she let him know that there was going to be a meeting, but our mayor decided to be somewhere else instead of that meeting. I mean, all you need to know is this lady has been on the up and up all the way through. And for them to go out and to try to find somebody to run against her, it's a travesty, and it's going to hurt us for quite some time.
Unless, of course, we change of course we change our council. If we change our council to people who want to work with the county, okay, and are respectful of the commissioners on the county, then I think we'll be back in the county's good graces.
It's more than council.
I'm sorry. As long as we have the current situation with Karen Cunningham as mayor, the village manager, the village attorney, and some of the council members, the county is not going to want to work with us. It's just not.
Oh no, they don't.
And they don't want to work with us, and they are not going to work with us. That we are the laughing stock of Miami-Dade County right now. I mean, it's disgusting. Anyway, why don't you talk about?
It's an embarrassment.
Okay, let's move.
All right.
Okay, so Karen Cunningham put out an email the other day that I think you need to talk about. One of them is that she decreased density, okay, to 2,500 units in Palmetto Bay.
In every lie, there's always a little bit of truth.
Yeah.
There's always a little bit of truth. I mean, it's
wrong.
It's political gamemanship, but here's the reality. You need to go back to that hearing in 2018. I think you were still there on 2018 when even Vice Mayor John Dubois was there.
Mm-hmm.
And you can hear from his own words where he said, this is an artificial cap that will have to be changed. Here's the problem. The overall zoning for the downtown area allows for 6,500 units.
I always thought it was 6,000, 6,500.
It's around 65. I don't remember that number.
Whatever.
Anymore. It's been
6,000
so
to 6,500.
They capped it artificially at 2,500 because there are two codes that oversee development of a city. The comprehensive land
Don't make
plan
this too
zoning.
difficult
I
for
know.
people to understand.
So one says 6,500, one says 2,500.
Yeah.
When you reach a 2,500, which we're already there, the village has got a choice. They can either go out and buy the 4,500 units
That's
that
right.
are out there because it's a public taking, or they're going to have to increase the cap, which is what Vice Mayor Dubois said. It doesn't matter what number we put now. We'll just change it when we need to.
Basically, this is
So
what
it's a
they
lie.
basically did. It's a lie. It's misinformation, and it's disingenuous. Okay, they basically are giving you a right to build a pool in your backyard, as long as there aren't any more pools built on your block. Okay, so they've given you this right to build a pool. Another pool gets built on the block, so they go, "Oh, you lost your right." Well, that's impossible because you've always had that right for a pool,
You can't take away
and you
property
can't take away property rights.
You can
so
buy them.
That's right. You can buy them. So you have 4,000 units out there, okay, that either the village gives the right to build, or they have to buy all that land from all those people who own the land. Okay, you can't take somebody's rights away from them, and that's what they basically are trying to do and say that that's the cap. It's not a cap, and any attorney in the world will tell you that what she's saying right now is incorrect. And 2,500 units is in the cap. Maybe she's not smart enough to understand it, but she should be since she's mayor. Okay, what else was on there?
Well, they also in that handout that you sent to me and I read through it. It also says they talked about decreasing heights. Well, that's really not factually true. The old code, anything above 5 had to go in front of the council, and the council would either grant it or not. And by the way, you guys never granted it when I was there. The new code, by right, allows you to get to 8 stories in the island. So it's actually backwards. This new code gives you a lot more rights than the old code did to do things without having to go in front of the council.
So when I voted against it, which I was the only one out of the 4 people up on the council at that time, I voted against it because it was going from originally 3,000 to 6,500 or 6,000 homes. The height was being increased, which the height I always thought would be good at 5 stories instead of 8. So what they basically did, okay, and I pointed it out while I was on the council, is they increased the amount of units and they increased the height and the density. Do you concur with that?
Overall, yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
It may be in different areas, but the fact of the matter is
Yeah, they moved the pieces around.
moved the pieces around. But the fact is that Palmetto Bay, which has, and I keep repeating this every single show so people understand, Palmetto Bay has like 7,000 single family homes. We're going to have about 6,000, 6,500 apartments to go along with that. And that was never the intended purpose when we incorporated in Palmetto Bay.
Even that is an issue because, as you well know, and I'm going back in history, there has now been 2 tries at annexing the land that's in between US 1 southbound and the busway. Both times it's failed. It failed once by a couple hundred votes by the voters, and it failed recently because this council decided not to even try to pursue it. The problem with that is you've got the RTC that's coming down that whole busway, transitway, whatever you want to call it, that's going to allow buildings up to 15 to 18 stories in height and densities up to 125 units an acre right next to us. So to pretend that we're an island and that that's not going to affect the village is lunacy. It really is ludicrous. I don't see how that's not going to affect us. And you know that is going to be developed, and you're going to have some. I know for a fact that there's a parcel on Banyan and US 1 that was looked at to put in a major transit station there with heights of 10, 12 stories tall. There's another one that was actually announced in a paper a couple years ago on Hibiscus in US 1. And there's a one that's going to be going on 186th Street that's 8 stories tall. So you're going to have a change to that whole district, whether you like it or not. And the only problem is, since we didn't annex, and since we again failed to even try to attempt to annex that warehouse district very recently on a vote, we have no say-so in what goes there, and we have no say-so in what it's going to look like. And more importantly, we have no tax benefits from everybody that's going to be living there. Again, it's a lack of vision.
It's a lack of foresight. It's a lack of vision. I will tell you one thing. You know, the last 3.5 years have been a disaster with the tax increases. Okay, with the
pennies a day.
Yeah, pennies a day with the upzoning. Okay, and there's not one. I don't think there's one apartment complex that Karen Cunningham hasn't voted to approve. So she is. You want to talk about pro-development? She is by far probably the biggest pro-development person that's ever been mayor of. I mean, I don't even think Shelley Stanzik was as bad. Pro-development mayor that we've ever had in Palmetto Bay. So if you guys are worried about the traffic and pro-development, this is somebody you should not be voting for.
Well, and I'm going to, and I'm not.
Yeah, you can too.
I don't want to hit on personalities.
Okay.
But I am going to say that a couple other things that kind of stuck out at me is that, there's a claim being made that there's budgeting for the Coral Reef Park. As you well know, there's been budgeting for Coral Reef Park
since I was there.
Since you were there. In
Yeah.
fact, some of that money we used it to buy a piece of land with, and then we rebudgeted again.
Mm-hmm.
The problem why Coral Reef Park hasn't been redone and rebuilt is quite simply because this council can't get together and come up with a cohesive plan.
Yeah, we got a trailer there.
We have a trailer. We were supposed to have been there for a maximum of 6 months.
That's right.
I think we signed a 6-month lease on it, and it's been there.
We
now.
agreed to $1 million budget, I think, for that.
And now that's been there for 5 years now, maybe 4 or 5 years.
That's ridiculous.
And I don't see it going away anytime soon.
But that's because okay.
And while they talk about budgeting for Coral Reef Park, there's some things that are better said by looking in between the lines. You don't see any mention of budgeting for Veterans Park.
Nope. Which was promised for 10 years.
You don't see any mention for funding for what we call the woods, which is that land.
22 acres.
The land that we acquired right across the street from Perrine Elementary.
Oh, that the county gave us.
That the county was going to sell it as surplus land, and we were able to. My administration and that council was able to salvage that, and they gave it to us for $1 a year as long as we turned that into a park. And
we have done nothing to it, so they could actually get that back, I would assume.
You've seen they could. I don't think they will for right now, but eventually that might be a problem. You see our parks in disarray. There's no.
Oh yeah, we're gonna go through the pictures. Let's go through the pictures.
If you want to go through,
can we go through? Okay, so we walked around. Can I say we, you, whoever? We all chipped in a little. Walked away. So can we just?
They might be in different. This is an example of some of the roadways in our village which have not been maintained adequately. This happens to be a public
works issue.
A Miami-Dade County road, 168th Street. But the reason why this road hasn't been redone is because although the county had money for it, they were waiting for us to work together with us to extend the bike lane that we started on 82nd Avenue down 168th Street. Guess what happened? Our village has never gotten back together with the county, and the road is just continuing to deteriorate and deteriorate. And even worse news than that is this village walked away from $1 million grant that we had for 82nd Avenue to put bike to continue.
Yeah, I heard they
those
just
bike
gave it
lanes.
back
They gave it back
because they ran out of time.
because they ran out of time and they didn't want to. They did not want to go through the process of trying to get it done.
It's crazy, huh? We get $1 million. You get $1 million from Dade County, and then you got to give it back because of incompetence.
That's not the only one. But
Yeah.
Here's one that most people don't know that you really worked hard on and you rode me hard on, was trying to get a pier done at Thalata. Remember that?
Correct.
We had a grant for that. There's money available for us to be able to go out and build that pier.
I thought the
And-
pier would work great.
And what happened? They gave that.
They had to give it back because they couldn't. Because
they gave part of it back, and they decided not to continue to pursue the rest of it because they just didn't want to give that to the residents. Here's another street, 174th Street, near one of the new communities. That road is atrocious. Now, the problem with that is I understand that developers, more than anybody, has to have a place to stage and to build and to all that. But this project's been ongoing now for almost 3 years. That road has been like this for almost 3 years. And where's the benefit for us residents that have had to suffer through this for the last 3 years? Have we charged them rent to use a public right-of-way? No.
you should
Have
have.
we asked them to do anything in kind for our residents because of what's happening? No. We've just let them basically get away with using that right away.
And destroying the road.
If it's that is their own private property, and that's wrong. Here's another street. Another thing that's being this one's cute. One of the other things that's being put out here is that we've repaid a lot of our streets. Yeah, this is one of the streets that's been repaid. The only thing that they forgot to do is to actually talk amongst themselves and realize that there's a development that's going on that property in the not too near future.
That's going to tear it up.
Where that
that's great.
Be teared up, and that's just money that they just threw away. Next.
Wait, no. How about the one next to it?
This is 80s. That's
this one.
Oh, here we go. Yeah.
They're obviously doing something and trying to get a positive spin out, which is great. That's okay. I mean,
Well, that's what they're doing with our tax dollars is they're paying PR people.
So they're putting a spin out and they're saying that these are the speed tables that we should be putting throughout the village. Only problem with that is that kind of a speed table is nowhere in Palmetto Bay. And that was aptly called out. They called them out on it. One of the readers called them out and said, please let me know where in Palmetto Bay this is supposed to be. I will tell you this.
Yeah.
We did design one like that in Palmetto Bay. It was supposed to be in Manglewood, where we put that crosswalk where they have the little candlesticks now.
Yeah.
That would have looked a hell of a lot better than what's there now.
No, it's disgusting what's there now.
But it never came to fruition because they gave up on it.
Next.
That's another one of the bike lanes that we should have, but they walked away from the $1 million grant. More bad roads. Keep going.
The hell is
parking.
that?
Yeah.
Where is that?
You know, they try to say, the council in general, that they're very business friendly.
Yeah.
This is by Maxwell.
Oh, okay.
There's no parking there. There's not enough parking. There was supposed to have been parking that was supposed to have been put on that side street.
I got it. They're going down to the park. Yeah.
They were supposed to have been put on 174th Street to try to help alleviate this. And you don't see it. They do everything that they can in their power. It's kind of like everything that they say is almost the opposite.
The problem is
They've chased away. They chased away Pig Floyd.
Yes.
They've chased away other restaurants. They've made life miserable for these people because there's not enough parking for aromas. They have 2 Peruvian restaurants now in our village. One where Dapples used to be.
Yeah, great. That's a great restaurant.
And yet they were allowing a food truck to serve Peruvian food in the middle to take away business from the 2 brick and mortar ones. It's who's watching the show?
No, this is the problem. There's nobody there right now that are involved in the nuts and bolts, right? You have no real management there. The manager, unfortunately, he's a great guy, but he is so beholden to the council who doesn't know what they're doing, okay, that he's afraid he's going to be fired. So he basically follows the whims of the council members. I mean, it's just.
Wait. No, I
I'm
hear
sorry.
you. I hear you, and I get you. I don't believe that's the issue. I don't think he's afraid to be fired, and I think he's a very capable person. The problem is that he just has no direction. There's no direction. And every time you get to the point that every time you do something, if you're going to get chastised, you just don't do anything.
Well, yeah, but that's what I mean by afraid, right? So if you're getting chastised, you don't want to be chastised anymore. You're going to, okay, if I make a decision, it's the right decision, and I'm still going to catch hell for it. Okay, I'm going to just follow what they want me to do, and what she basically wants to do is take a bunch of selfies so she can get reelected. There's nobody sitting there doing the nuts and bolts in the city. There, at no time were the roadways as bad as they are now, the parks as bad as they are now. The whole village has just basically become a mess.
Liam?
Okay,
Next.
next picture. Sorry.
Next picture. Gotcha.
Okay. This is off of 77th Avenue under the FP&L Guywires. At one time,
That was going to be a pocket park.
we were going to make that a pocket park.
Mhm.
If you go on 97th Avenue, just directly west of the falls under the FP&L guidelines, they made that into a pocket park.
Really?
Yeah.
Mm.
A nice little walkway.
Yeah.
I actually
Oh, and
drove
by the way,
I
that
drive
pocket
by-
park was one of the mayor's biggest pledges, right? Oh, we're going to have pocket parks everywhere.
Yeah, well, that's
Okay,
never,
next.
never quite happened.
Okay.
Promises are made, but
Yeah, I
yeah,
know.
this is what we call the woods, which is
Yeah.
the area right across the street from Perrine Elementary, where we contractually agreed to with the county to do certain things there, which we just simply haven't done.
Next. Oh, that's great. What is that?
Oh my God.
That's Corey Park.
That's Corey Park?
Now, there was an email sent, but I'm not. There was an email sent to that hotline or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever.
That's
thing-
no way that's Corey Park.
Yeah, it's Corey Park.
Wow. It's a
Where
liability.
the question was made, when are you going to fix these sidewalks?
Mm-hmm.
And apparently they put it out to bid. I do have one simple question though, because when we were there, we bought the material to be able to patch these things up and do them internally. Whatever happened to all that material?
I don't know. Listen, as you know what my
I don't
opinion.
get it.
You know my
I don't
opinion
get
of
it.
Fanny is. Next.
No, but that's not no.
No, that's not
Fair,
Fanny.
That's not nope.
Okay.
Nope.
What's that one?
That's just your. I thought you'd get a kick out of this one. This is your. Little,
Oh, my.
your favorite pet peeve, which is a sidewalk.
It's great. That's 136th Street.
The sidewalk on 136th Street.
Yeah, the
and-
10-foot sidewalk.
yeah,
Yeah, I call it a landing pad, but I guess it's I guess it's another lane. I always said it was big enough for another lane, right? You have 10. Well, a lane's what, 12 feet?
No,
11 feet?
Lanes can be from 9 to 11 feet.
Okay, so 11 feet.
And
so
that's 10.
so
that's
so
right
it's
in the
another
middle.
it's
Yeah,
another
yeah.
lane in case there's an accident. You just go and drive on the sidewalk.
I just figured you'd like that.
What a
Anyway,
waste
next.
of concrete. Okay.
There is one more. Okay, this is in front of Perrine Elementary where we went and spent a lot of money because she talks about improving relationships with schools and all that. We spent a lot of money in putting landscaping in there and putting
Yeah.
in these temporary candles, what I call candlesticks.
They're flexi sticks, but that's okay.
Whatever they're called.
Flexi
And
sticks.
that was not supposed to stay that way.
Yeah.
That was also always supposed to turn into a curb.
Yeah.
Never has. The landscaping behind it, it looks like crap.
Oh wait, I got a great. We
It
got a
looks
great
like crap.
picture. Do we have a great picture of the COVID ball and what's happened to that
it's coming
landscaping?
up, it's coming
Okay,
up.
here. Next.
This is. I got more grief over this sign than a lot of other things than when I was there as manager, because for some reason that's a lit sign
That's not lit.
that the solar system failed on it. So we were looking for quotes to try to get regular power to
Yeah.
it. I've been out of there now for about 3 years, maybe
Yeah.
a little bit more than 3 years, and it's still not lit. And everybody that comes into Palmetto Bay every day probably doesn't even realize that at one time that was a lit sign.
I actually remember that being lit.
And I don't get it.
So
I
why
don't-
can't they just
I
put
don't
more
get-
cells up there?
I don't get it. They got the money.
Yeah.
They got the money, but why
They got
don't
12
I have no
$12 million
ideas.
to do stuff like that.
There's probably one more, I think.
Yeah.
Leon,
Well, that's no. Where is it? There was a ball. What's that one?
it's not a cool.
Oh, there it is. There's our COVID ball.
That's one of our art places on 82nd Avenue and 168th Street.
$55,000.
Art, it was just the artwork alone was 80,000 plus whatever it costs to build it.
Okay.
But part of the installation was the flowers that they put around.
Yeah, the wildflowers and all that.
You call it, what is it you call it?
Wi-
The
wildflowers?
You call it the COVID ball.
I call it COVID ball.
I think it looks like a sign for Top Golf, but whatever.
I like the COVID ball
Um,
because it was put in during COVID.
That
as a memory.
That right there is embarrassing. But you know, it's funny. Then you go down to the one on 87th and 168th Street.
Yeah.
Go look at the lights. The lights come on when it's still daylight outside.
No, nobody is watching the store.
You would think that by now somebody would have realized it and would have changed the timer on those lights so that
Yeah.
they go on at sunset. But no, they go on 2 hours prior to sunset every day. It's
Nobody's watching. Okay,
I'm-
do you agree with that? Nobody's watching the store. Nobody's getting involved in the nuts and bolts. It's just
I think
all-
that I think that staff is just
well, staff doesn't like
is
the current
going
council.
is going. No, I wouldn't go that far.
I would. I've
I
talked to
think
them.
staff is going from fire to fire
Yeah.
to fire to fire drill to fire drill, and it's very difficult. They just cannot keep up.
You gotta love Renee. He's like laughing at LMAO 80K. What the fuck? Okay. You know, that's what's good about me having my own program. I can cuss. He's great. I love this. Renee, maybe you should run for office. Kelly, Karen Cunningham has really neglected Palmetto Bay. Let's vote her out. Yeah, that's an understatement. No, she is. You're leaving. There's so much time left.
I told you I was going to give you about a half an hour, 45 minutes.
No, you're staying anyway.
Ah,
What else do we have to talk about?
you tell me.
Okay, so
What else do you want to talk about?
poor maintenance of parks. We discussed all that, right? This is your list. Outstanding political campaigning, but the truth is the truth. Oh, that's about Karen. You want to talk about Pam Gorman?
I heard that she's running.
Pam Gorman is a lifelong activist in Palmetto Bay, right? And she's decided that Patrick is just not doing the job that he signed up for.
Just broke my stick.
You broke your what?
You just broke my.
Oh, sorry about that. Anyway, whatever. Maybe if you lost a little weight, your
Yeah,
buttons
maybe.
wouldn't be popping up like they're.
listen, I'll give a plug. I'm going to a personal trainer
He's good.
in our village. and
That's
he's
right.
real good, and
Plug him.
I'm very excited about it. It's Chris Person. So
And you have his phone number?
Chris Person. Do I have his?
Yeah,
of course I have his number. But
Anyway, Chris is trying to get this one in shape. Anyway, so Pam
he's got
decided
a
that
tall order here.
she's in District 1, and Patrick's been around, what, 12 years now?
He's been around for a while.
For a while, right? Because he served, what, did he serve one term?
He served one term, ran for mayor,
Lost.
and then he came back, and I think he's
And this is his second term.
his
Okay,
second go around. So he's
Go
been
around.
around for 8 years.
8 years, so he's trying to get 12.
go for
So the fact of the matter is, as much as I like Patrick, and you know I like Patrick, I actually considered when I used to go out to dinner with him, when I used to pay for dinner, it was my increase in taxes every year, because God knows if you go out to dinner with Patrick, somebody's going to be picking up the tab, and it's not going to be Patrick. You're laughing. It's true. Have you ever gone out to dinner with Patrick once where he offers to pick up the tab or split the tab? with you?
Anyway, let me get back to the
Okay, Pam. Okay, go
my
ahead.
personal trainer,
Okay.
Chris Person, 305-389-3773. He's really, really good. He's a joy to work with.
Yeah, and you're sore every day. So
Uh,
anyway, so Pam has decided that she's going to run against Patrick, because if you look at, and I just did a public information request on anything that Patrick has tried to pass in the last 4 years, any ordinances or resolutions, and I don't think there are any. I mean, between me and you, I mean, Patrick's up there to get a salary and to get health insurance. And I don't have a problem with that, but he's done nothing in the last 4 years that's to benefit the residents of Palmetto Bay.
Well, listen, I'll say this, and I don't want to talk about personalities,
Okay.
but I do want to talk about the village and division and the future for the village. And I like I said when I first started here, I fully expect that there'll be some ramifications for me being on your show today, but I'm a big boy and I'll take it. And what's going to be coming out of today is going to be attacks about, we're shady characters. I'm sure I'm going to get a meme or two, and it is. But I'm going to ask everybody that hears this show or reads about any of this stuff to go back and do some research and go and look at every time they've done this. It either has not panned out for them because it's been an outright lie. They'll attack the messenger, which it could be David or it could be me or it could be anybody else, but they will never really debate
The facts.
because they can't debate the facts because I got nothing to gain. I really don't want anything other than a village that's going to run well. My son just bought in Palmetto Bay. I'm looking for a house for my daughter in Palmetto Bay. We love Palmetto Bay and we want to stay in Palmetto Bay. So we're bringing all this up because it's your show and you want to highlight
Listen,
the negatives. But Palmetto Bay is a great place to live.
Palmetto Bay is a great place to live. It would be great if there weren't building 6,500 apartments and if they weren't raising taxes. Like, everybody else is decreasing taxes. Miami-Dade County is decreasing taxes. City of Miami is decreasing taxes. Palmetto Bay is increasing taxes. They have no control over anything because of it's more about style than substance. Would you agree with that? There's no substance on the council right now. It's all about there's no vision.
Real coherent vision as to what the future of Palmetto Bay is going to look like.
And anytime there's something that's good, that they sit there.
4 or 5 years ago, you were espousing, I was espousing that we were going to get our behinds sued by Luxcom if we didn't really have a consensus and a meeting. And instead, they picked the easy way out and have decided to let it go into the courts. Well, the problem with that is that's going to cost every one of us money.
What's already cost us $1 million, right?
Even more than $1 million.
And by the way, I've asked for public information request on that, all the bills that we paid because of Luxcom, because I heard it was $1 million and I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, I've been hearing the same.
Okay. Once I get the bills and I'll come here with the bills and I'll show everybody. I can't confirm it was $1 million. I've just been told it was $1 million, and that's what's going on. I mean, and we haven't even started with Luxcom yet. That I always said that if we started litigation with Luxcom instead of negotiating something, we were going to be hit with $3 to $5 million, right? And that's just in litigation fees. If we get damages, it's going to wipe out the Village Palmetto Bay reserves. Yeah. Okay. So I mean, this is the problem with.
Well, you're going to get a hit with the reserves anyway, because one of the things that's in that political piece that you sent to me is that they've obtained $4 million in water grants. What's not the rest of that sentence is that $4 million needs to be matched with $4 million of our own money. So that's either going to come out of one or two places.
No, you know what they're going to do? You know what's going to do? They're just going to give it back like they did the other $1 million.
You know what, David? But there is something to be said about when you start giving money back, it takes years to get your credibility back and be able to gain money again.
Well, did you hear? I don't know if you watched the show last week, but you know how much money the town of Cutler Bay's had? They've done all these improvements with all the money. They have people that specialize in getting grants, and then they use the grants for the betterment of their community. They just don't sit on the money and have to give it back.
We also have a grant. The village also has a grant writer. It's not. And I know that it's easy to point to that.
I'm not pointing to the grant writer.
I think the grant writer. I just think that there isn't a coherent vision from the council saying, let's go after this, let's go after that. We at one time went after Cutler Bay just put out that they put in 60 trees or 70 trees in one of their parks. They got a grant from,
and we're cutting ours down.
And we've gotten.
I know, but we're cutting ours down.
And we've gotten that. We've gotten that grant before. The fact that we didn't go for the grant this time, I don't know why. I'm not there. I can't answer for that. So it's not like we don't know that it's there. But I will tell you, there is a lot of missed grant opportunities because of the animosity between cities and the county. One of the best things that I ever had when I was there as a manager, in terms of being able to get grants, is we would talk regularly, and I would let this manager or that manager know, hey, there's an opportunity for this grant, and they would give me the call, and that reciprocity was there. It's no longer there. It's just no longer there. So this council has done their best to choke off this administration from being able to make those connections that you need to know what's available. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, it's a problem.
So it's not. I don't think it's a staff thing.
It's just a lack of vision. It's a lack of follow through. It's a lack of people actually having a handle on what they should be doing to the betterment of the residents.
So how was the Bahamas?
Bahamas was great. Let's talk about Pam Gorman. So anyway, Pam Gorman, she filed her paperwork. She filed her paperwork yesterday. Right.
I wish her all the luck in the world. I think she's going to do great.
She will be a great councilwoman in District 1. I'm sorry, Patrick, but you got to go. And the fact of the matter is, she actually follows Palmetto Bay and what goes on in Palmetto Bay closer than Patrick does. I mean, I used to sit next to Patrick on the council. Don't show his face because he doesn't want to be any part of this. Okay. I used to sit next to Patrick on the council. No, don't go anywhere. I got 15 minutes. We're going to go back to you. Sit next to Patrick on the council. The guy never even opened up his book to see what was the agenda was about. He sit there. Literally, he's just sitting there for a paycheck and health insurance. He doesn't talk. I mean, just watch him. Any of that. He doesn't talk. He just buys his time so he can get paid, which is okay. But we need somebody like Pam Gorman, who wants to improve and betterment on the betterment of Palmetto Bay. She really cares a lot about Palmetto Bay, and she's the horse I'm riding in on. Sorry, Pam, I don't mean to call you a horse. I think you're laughing. I don't want to insult her. Her husband's a great guy. They really they are absolutely involved in everything that goes on Palmetto Bay, and they really care. And apparently, Pam called Patrick the other day. And Patrick exploded on Pam. How can you do this to me? Blah, blah, blah.
All right.
Okay, that's rumor. But anyway, so the fact of the matter is, anybody out there, do me a favor, make sure that you look at Pam, look at her credentials, okay? Look at how involved she is in the village of Palmetto Bay. She's the one that should be sitting in District 1.
All I would love to be able to see from our residents is to get informed. Look at who you think is going to resolve the issues and give you a vision and
look at past history.
Look at past history and resolve the issues that we have. We really need to get a grip on our tax situation. We really need to get a grip on our maintenances of our facilities. We really need to get a grip on basic government, the basic things that we need to do as a government to be able to serve us, the residents, in a better manner. We have a problem that's coming up with the police department in the next couple of years as to when it morphs over into the sheriff. Who's going to run the police department? Will it be the county through Mayor Levine Cava, which is what she wants, or will it be an independent sheriff that's going to be independent of everybody? And how will that affect us? There's a lot of crucial issues out there that we're going to be facing in the not too near future that we really need to have a steady hand, experienced hands to guide us through that. And
let me ask you a question: Is that going to be on the ballot?
No, it already was. It comes into fruition, I think, in 2025.
But are we going to hire a sheriff? Because I'd much rather have a sheriff than
elected. It'll be an elected position.
Okay, because I don't feel that the mayor of Dade County should be running our police force.
And that's the reason. That's the reason why I'm putting it out there.
Yeah.
We have issues with taxes. We have issues with how are we going to resolve a crisis that I see that's continuously growing. I mean, look at your homeowners insurance, people. I'm sure everybody's going to get a shock when it comes in and they realize how much higher it is. Look at your flood insurance, how that's gone up. And then on top of all that, you look at all the nickel and diming that our village is doing that's taking money away from us. And ask yourself, what are they using it on? Because it's certainly, I mean, one of the things they ran on was tree trimming. Have you seen any tree trimming?
No. And by the way, they put that in the budget. They're probably using that money to pay attorneys.
Where'd it go?
No, I got it.
But where'd that money go? I mean,
we have a tree committee. Maybe you should ask the tree committee.
There's a lot of promises that have been made, and they fail to deliver on them. Over and over
I got to tell you something. All people have to do before they go and vote, and I'm going to keep telling people this over and over and over again before the November election, okay, is you have to look at past history and what's happened in the last 3.5 years of Palmetto Bay. And if you're happy with the last 3.5 years in Palmetto Bay, and you're happy with increase in taxes, services devolving, what else? Increase in taxes, services devolving, and money being paid for PR instead of where it should be going. Bike lanes not being built where they were supposed to. Giving back money, okay, because you haven't used it properly. Look at all the things that are happening. And then if you're happy with it, then you vote for Karen. But don't vote for her because she's taking selfies. I mean, you got to look at the job that's being done with the present council. And the present council, you know, they fought against the bridge. Okay. And that's okay. I can understand that. But overall, you got it. Life safety life safety issues are really important. And the fire chief came out and said, look, we could save a drowning child if that bridge was there. 2 minutes is a big deal for trying to resuscitate a drowning child. I mean, there's just so much that they've done. They've got us into 3 lawsuits now, 3 major lawsuits. Luxcom, you got Palmetto Bay Business, right?
The Village Center,
Village
Palmetto Bay
Center,
Village
Center, and there's a third one out there somewhere. Okay, I mean, come on, guys. Our community is smarter than this. They're not going to be fooled by wolf in sheep's clothing. They're smarter. I know they're smarter.
But we bought a boat.
Yeah, there we go. We bought a boat. The fact of the matter is, if people look into what's going on in the village, they're going to realize that this is a terrible administration.
And I know I'm an old timer,
Yeah.
and I'm making light of that, and I understand that they're trying to address the situation. But being around this village for as long as I have, I already know that that's been tried once before, and it was proven not to work.
What, the boat?
Yeah.
In the canal?
Yeah.
To stop the.
Yeah.
By the way,
and
I'm looking for a jet ski. If anybody knows anybody who's selling a used jet ski, let me know.
so I mean, I just there's just a lack of cohesion.
Yeah.
At one time, there was a strategic plan that was drafted. It's never even mentioned, never even brought up. I think I remember a certain council member saying that would be a report that would be gathering dust on.
I said it.
Yeah.
I mean, as crazy as I am,
No, you are.
and I'm crazy. Okay. The things that I said were going to come to fruition have come to fruition under this current administration. And there's people that don't like me because I'm still talking about it over and over and over again.
They've done a great, and I'm going to say this, and I'm sure I'll get calls on this, and on this I'm leaving. You're extremely passionate.
Born and raised in Palmetto
You're
Bay.
extremely passionate. Once you make up your mind, there is no stopping you, and you're going to go after it like a bull in a china shop. But they've done a damn good job of trying to paint you as crazy. When a lot of what you do and say, you may not say it the right way. You may be very
Curt
in your face the way you do it. But a lot of what you say makes sense.
No, it's not only it's sense, it's the truth. I mean, I can't tell you how much money.
Except when my bills come for the project that I'm doing now, make sure that you always add a 0 to it.
There you
we're
go.
Good.
I can tell you one thing. I've spent more money on public information from the village, okay, than any other resident in Palmetto Bay.
Just remember, add a 0.
Yeah, I'll take. I will add 0 where there's where there's a number.
No, at the end.
Where there's a
not
number.
At the end.
I'll put a 0 right there.
All right.
Oh, you leaving? I got 7 more minutes.
Man, I've got at least 4 or 5 hours more work today.
I know, but don't we have anything else to talk about it?
Yeah,
I've never done this show by myself. If you want to leave, that's fine.
You can go off for the last 5 minutes.
I don't know who to go off on. We've talked about it.
Everybody was great being here. I wish you all luck, and please really get informed, get involved, and ask a couple questions. Who's going to really be able to deliver on what they promise, and how are they going to pay for it? Because I've also seen some crazy things out there. That when you add up the numbers, unless we're opening up a Federal Reserve gold bank somewhere in Palmetto Bay that I'm not aware of, there's no way we can afford any of that. This
is what you need to do. You need to elect people that know what they're doing. You need to elect somebody who's run a business. Okay. Gene has run a business. Okay.
I'm not going to get into
okay. I'm not. Okay. You don't have to. Okay. So goodbye. It's been nice seeing you. But the fact of the matter is, somebody who knows budgeting, somebody knows about you're leaving. He really is leaving. That's really hurting my feelings. You're not going to be here till the end. That's okay. So I don't know what else to talk about. Okay, so we'll talk about Pam Gorman a little bit. So anyway, so everybody reach out to her. She just started her campaign a couple of days ago. I think she'd be a great fit for the city. Her husband's a great guy. He'd be a great fit for the city too. It's unfortunately that he lost when he was running last time, because he would have been a perfect council member in District 1. I think Patrick's time's over. It's time to head him out to the sunset. He literally, please go back and look at what he's accomplished the last 3.5 years. Oh, that's right. Go back and see what he's accomplished the past 3.5 years, and he's basically done absolutely nothing on the council. Okay, so nice guy, great guy, but it's time for him to retire from Palmetto Bay politics. We talked about Cody.
Mm-hmm.
I had him here talking about whatever, how much disarray that the village is in. What else we got? Oh, next week. Who are we bringing in next week? Next week, either going to be Mo, my buddy Mo again, and we're going to talk about national events, current events, or we will bring in Gene Flynn, because he wants to talk about his campaigning and where his campaign is going through. If anybody has any emails, you can email me right now and I'll answer your questions. Let's go back and see if I've missed anything. Oh, look at that. My buddy, Anthony Singer. This is some crazy shit you're broadcasting. Yeah, pretty much. Welcome to Palmetto Bay.
I think he said that during the bitch email.
Oh, the bitch. Yeah.
Like, the
oh, look, he
Facebook
speaks.
post.
Look, I got him to speak. Liam, if nobody's here, you got to talk to me. That's what the deal
No,
is.
absolutely.
Renee, I'm telling you right now, I got to have you on my show. You're great. And that's basically it. I guess we can cut the show off a couple minutes. Palmetto Bay government is overrated. Yeah, not in my eyes. It's not. Kelly wrote, what about Jones or Marcia? You know what? I've asked Marcia to be on the show. She has declined to come on the show. I'd be happy to get Jones on the show and talk to him. So we can only bring him in one at a time. We will definitely have Pam Gorman on the show, because she's going to tell us what she'll do differently than Patrick. And even if she does anything, that will be something differently than Patrick's done. You know what they say, man? You don't have a tough act to follow, Pam, when you get elected. I think that's it. Thanks for everybody for tuning in. Next week, like I said, it will be either Mo or it will be Gene Flynn. Hopefully one of the two. And then after that, I'm trying to get a date where I can get both the mayors of Cutler Bay and Pinecrest on the same show, so they can talk about their villages. And I think that would be a great deal. By the way, today's show was sponsored by Karen Cunningham. If we can find the clip. Where's our clip of Karen sponsoring our show?
Oh, I can't.
Oh, you can't even find it. That's so sad.
Wait a minute. Is it?
That's okay.
Cody,
It doesn't.
Gloves off.
Go. Here's our clip. Wait, can you play that again? Can you play that for
Gloves off.
See, even Karen Cunningham watches Gloves Off, as she can attest to by that clip. I love that clip. You want to play it one more time?
Gloves off.
Off with David Singer. That's right. Karen Cunningham advertising my show. We got to love it. By the way, we have asked Karen Cunningham to be on the show and to answer some questions, and she has declined, just like the rest of the council has declined. Anyway, that's it for me. Everybody have a great Friday and a great Saturday and Sunday. And we're back to work next Thursday at 4 p.m. So peace out, stay healthy, and stay safe. Thank you.